Okay, let's finish up our character concept by sculpting the medallion. And this is another place where you can really be creative. I'm going to show you what I want to do, and you're free to do that as well, or you can do something on your own. So the first thing that I'm going to do is use ZModeler to just add a little bit of a raised area in the center. And so with ZModeler, you can very quickly add a temporary polygroup. So I'm just going to hold down Alt and drag across these central polygons. And you can see they turn white, creating this temporary polygroup. So now as I hover over a polygon, I'm going to hold down my space bar, and I would like to extrude those polygons, and we can do a polygroup island. Okay. And so what we can do is go ahead and extrude those out, kind of extrude them up like this. Now we'll go and I'm going to change this to scale. Again, polygroup island, mesh center. And so let's kind of scale this down a little bit like that. Okay, so that gives us kind of a raised area. Now I want to maintain the kind of the hardness of it when it is subdivided. So I'm going to hover over an edge, and I want to insert a single edge loop. And I'm going to come down and insert some edge loops right around here. Okay, so something like that. Now let's begin to do some subdividing here. So I'm going to hit Control D, and I'm going to keep subdividing. Let's turn on solo, turn off our polyframe. I'm going to keep subdividing. I'm going to get a brush just so I can test out the subdivision levels that we're looking at here. Turn up our intensity and our draw size. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And so now what I want to do is I want to create some really cool radial detail on this. And by radial, I mean I want it to be I want to create a lot of detail all the way around, and I don't want to have to do it one stroke at a time. And so what we can do is use our symmetry, but instead of using it in the normal way across one axis, we're going to turn on radial symmetry. And I'm going to increase this count. Let's go up to like 72. And I also want to change the axis. I'm going to go ahead and just put 72 in there. I also want to change the axis because right now the axis isn't working for us. So I'm going to change it to the Z axis. And it's still not going to be exact, so I'm going to turn on local symmetry. And now you can see that I have little dots all across there. And so anything that we do is going to be actually mirrored 72 times all the way around. So I want to change to, let's change to the standard brush. And so I'm going to test this, and there'll be a little bit of undoing here until we get the effect that we really want. So I'm going to take the focal shift down a little bit, increase the draw size a bit. Let's take our intensity down a little. And so I want to create kind of a bead look up at the top. And you can see we have it rotate a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this, turn off the symmetry now. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. So that means I'm going to take this object, and you can see how the pivot's all the way down here. I'm going to unlock it, take it right up there, and then I'm going to rotate it back. So let me turn this back on. So let's say something like that. Now let's go back to draw, and we'll turn our symmetry back on. And I'm going to change this number back to 72. All right, so now I want to get that sort of raised detail in there. And so you can see that's kind of the effect that we're getting. And so depending on the effect that you want, you can change basically these three values. I want it to be a little bit wider. So you end up with something like that. All right, we can also go back in and we can get Damien's standard brush, and we can, with symmetry still on, we can kind of tighten this up a little. So we've got Z sub here. Let's take our intensity down a little bit. See, we can kind of tighten that up. We can kind of tighten up the inside here. We can also add some like rope-like effects to this. So let's get a higher intensity, maybe a smaller draw size. We could come in here at an angle. Let's take our lazy mouse down just a little. And let's subdivide again. So we get a little bit higher resolution. And so we can come in here, Let's actually make it a little bit more like that. So, I don't know, something like that. Think of this as being gold. And so let's go to Z add. Let's increase our draw size. And now I'm going to start, let's start maybe in the middle of these. And I'm just going to come over here and kind of come down to the center. And I want to stop kind of right before we get here. So I'm going to angle right for this one. And then I'm going to come and angle the other way. And that gives us this cool kind of pattern there. And again, think of this as being all gold. We can always go back in and kind of smooth things out a little bit. I don't want it to be quite so sharp. Now in the center here, I want to have another area that's kind of pushed in. And so we can do that with many different kinds of brushes. Let's go ahead and get our standard brush and let's do a drag rectangle. We'll turn off our symmetry. And for the alpha, I'm going to use this alpha 6. And I'm actually going to turn on symmetry just so that I can see where the exact center is. I'll turn it back to X symmetry. And I want to push it in. So something like that. Okay, now I want to kind of chop off the edges of this. So I'm going to get the trim adaptive brush and I'm going to turn the symmetry back on radial, but I don't want quite so many. So let me take this down to maybe 24 and let's take our draw size down a little bit. So something like that. And then same thing in here, although we probably want a smaller draw size. So something like that. And then when we do our texturing, we'll be able to add additional detail to this, but we just wanted to add some detail. Now, when we create our normal maps, the thing that we'll have to be careful of is the silhouette, because that's the main, this detail can all be duplicated with a normal map, no problem. It's the silhouette that's going to give us the issue when we're trying to create something that's low res. But we'll handle that in one of the next couple of courses that handle the film res geometry and then the game res geometry. So let's go ahead and turn off our solo and we can kind of look at where things stand. I want to turn perspective back on, turn the eyes back on. Okay, so I like where this concept is right now. So that brings us to the end of our concept phase for our character. We've got a high-res sculpt and maybe yours looks a little bit different. You've kind of put your own spin on things and that's really great. But the key is that you have high-res geometry and you get sign off and you're like, this is what I want the character to look like. So at this point, you have a great concept, but you don't have a production model that's ready to go quite yet in your film or in your game. So the next step will be creating the geometry that will make your model look like this, but you'll be able to rig it, animate it either for film or in real time in a game engine. And so those two different uses for the geometry will require slightly different methods for creating the production geometry. So now that you've created your concept, you can continue to create more of these concepts, or you can jump into one of the following courses where you can learn to use some of the geometry we've created and also some retopology techniques to create film res production geometry. Or you can jump into another course where you'll take this high res geometry and make just a few pieces of very low res geometry that we can then take into a game engine like Unity and get a character that looks just like this. You'll also be able to go in and add textures for both of those options. So thanks for following along the last few hours of concepting this character. Hope to see you in one of the next courses where we'll work on some production geometry. Thanks for watching.